In Cinema 4D, we have something we call a rigid body and a collider body. So without wasting much time, let's talk about it shortly. Then we do a quick demonstration of what I'm talking about. So when we say a rigid body, think of it like what makes an object to bounce on a surface, or let's say what makes an object to move. So in this case, I would say the gravity that makes an object to fall from um, a certain level to collide with something on the ground. So that is what rigid body is. So um, let's continue with the collider body. So with the collider body, all what I'm trying to say is very simple. If an object moves or falls from a height or from a distance and hits a surface, the surface that the object hits it's what we call the collider body. So the object collides with a surface. So let's say this is a surface and this is our object. So what will make the object move from this level to this level is the gravity. So we call that then a rigid body. I hope you understand. So when the object hits the surface, it's called or it can be termed as it's colliding. I hope you get what I'm saying. So this is the rigid body, this is the collider body. So if the object moves from this level to this level, it's called rigid body or rigid body. And this is the collider body. So the object hits the surface and either bounces back like it's been thrown from the top to down. So that is what we call a rigid body. So let's not waste much time. Let's go into our software so I can do a short demonstration, like a minute or two. It's going to be very quick because we don't have enough time. So let's go quickly into our software. So we have launched our software. This is our interface. It's very simple. So you can add your floor to your scene. Then let's go with a text first. So I'm going to go with a mode text, that is a 3D text. So let's change this text to um let's say Harry J. Very simple. So this is our text. It's Let me center our text. It's right now it's aligned on the left. So I put it in the middle or in the center of our scene. So here we can change let's try and get a font that looks a little bolder than what we have now. Okay, so this is looking good. Let's increase the depth of our font. So the depth is the thickness. I hope you are following. The depth is the thickness of our font. So as you can see, I'm increasing the depth of the the object, that is our text. So this is what we have at the moment. It's very simple. Let's add some lights. I already have lights in my scene, so just put any 10 lights in your scene and try and get the shadows correctly. So let's do a preview render so you can see what we have in our scene. So as you can see, the Harry J is hanging in the sky. It's not on the floor, or it's not on the ground. Let me put it on the ground so we see exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, so right now the text or the object is on the surface. So let's use the explanation initially to do a short demonstration. The name is what we are going to apply the rigid body to, and the floor or our background is what we are going to apply the collider body to. So in Cinema 4D, it's called simulation tags. So let's not waste much time. let's bring RJ on top. Let's move the object from the surface to the top of our scene. So as you can see, let's go to the other viewports and see what is happening. So as you can see, this is the object, this very one at the top, RJ Multimedia, sorry, RJ, and this line you are seeing here is our foreground or our floor. It's very simple. Now, let's get to the perspective view. Let me change the font color so it looks different from the background. So it's very simple. So you select your font, then you apply any material to it. Let's see what we have. So it's very, very simple. You don't need to stress yourself doing stuff like this. 3D, it's very fancy when you are working with, or when you are working in 3D, it's very, very fancy if you know what you are doing. You don't need to stress yourself, go and do this, go and do that. You don't have enough time to waste. So this is an example of, this is a real tutorial, or I can say this is the basic tutorial you can get ever. So let's right click. You look at your objects panel, then you can see your mode text, then your other layers as well. So you right click on the mode text, the one or the object that you want to make it fall on the surface. That is what you apply the rigid body to. So let's look for simulation tags in these options. So I can find my simulation tag here. And the first item when you put the cursor on the simulation tag is the rigid body. So let's click on it. Click on it. This automatically means you've applied the rigid body to our text. So it's very simple. As you can see, there's an icon beside the mode text layer. That is the rigid body icon. So without wasting my time, let me play this animation so you see. I didn't do anything though. I just right click on the mode text, then selected my simulation tags, applied I applied the rigid body to the text, and let's play it and see what we have here. So as you can see, the text has moved from its original position, and as it has passed through the surface, you can see the text is passing through the surface. So all what I'm trying to say is what made the text to move, the gravity which made the text to move from where it was or where it is to the downside of the screen is what we call the rigid body. So that is one thing you should know. I hope you can see that. So right now, our intention is we want the text to move from where, or to move from the top and hit the surface. We don't want it to pass through it. It's very simple. So since you don't want the text to pass through the base, or you don't want it to pass through the floor, all what you need to do is to select your floor or your background on the object layer like you did to the mode text. You right click on that one too. Right click on that one. Then you look for simulation tag. This time around, we are not looking for rigid body, but we are looking for collider body, a collider body. So let's look for it. Right click, simulation tag. Then you can see our collider body here. So you click on the collider body. This also means that the collider body has been added to our surface or our foreground. So the let's bring our text back and play our animation and see what will happen. This should be very, very simple for anyone who is following me. So let's play and see. So I hope you are seeing what I'm saying. This is very simple. This is very, very simple. So let me play it again so we see what we have here. So let's put light in our scene so we see what we are doing. So let's play it one more time. You see? So now our object or our text is not going through our base, but it's colliding with it. So that is what we call collider body and rigid body. But we are not done. We are not done. In some cases, maybe how the object falls is not how you want it to fall. Maybe you want it to bounce. You want the individual alphabets or the individual objects bounce to a certain level. Like you want them to scatter in your scene. All what you need to do is you select your rigid body, then you do a little adjustments to the parameters. That is very, very simple. So let's do a little of that and see. So let's go back to our scene. We have our scene right here. So to do that, you select which object you've applied the rigid body to. So like I said initially, after applying the rigid body to your object, you will see an icon of the rigid body close to that particular layer. So you click on that layer, then sorry, then in your attributes manager, you can see we have some parameters to work with or parameters to play with. So it's very, very simple. After clicking on it, we have the basic, we have the dynamics, we have collision, we have mass, we have force, soft body, and the cache. So what we are going to do here is we are going to work on the dynamics and on the collision as well. So the collision is uh, the point at which the object hits the ground. So that is it. So under the collision, we have a couple of um, options we can play with. So if you look at the down, or if you look beneath the screen, you can see bounce, you can see friction. We are not going to work or we are not going to touch most of the things here. So let's look for, we have bounce, we have friction, then we have shape as well. Let me see. Okay, so in this option, let's change our bounce to, let's say this is random, so let's say 50. Then we change our friction to 150. Let's see what this looks like. So it's closer to what we have initially. Let's go to the dynamics as well and see what we can do over there. So we have immediately, that is the trigger. So what this means is with the trigger, the immediately means when the object hits the ground, it should bounce or it should react immediately. That is all what they're trying to say. So we have a couple of them here. Let's leave it on the immediately. Then we work with time transition. Let's get let's see what 50 can do to us. So there's nothing that has been changed. Let's try a random number and see. So I have 250 in my scene. It hasn't also made any changes. So let's work on the bounce. The bounce, let me go for 80. Then the friction should be 100. Let's see what we can do with these numbers. So with this one, as you can see, let me bring the scene so you can see. So let's see. Okay, so the double R is standing. Let's see if that too can fall. So we go with the bounce, let's say 100. The friction should be 80. Let's see if it will work. So the arrows are still standing. They are trying to be stubborn. Let's change the friction to 20 and see. It's moving a little. So we are getting there. We are getting there. Don't panic. So I just increase the bounce to 250. So see what the 250 can do. So it means the number is outrageous. Let's do 150. You don't have to put any number there because you want it to bounce. Know what you are doing. So as you can see, the arrows are also down at the moment. So I think it's let's make it 120 for now and make the bounce 30. So these are random numbers that I'm using to work. So I hope you are seeing it. So the friction should be, let's make it 15. So this is very simple. This is very simple. So um these are also some examples of a rigid body and a collider body. So in Cinema 4D, if someone says, or if you see any animation like this, like what you are seeing on your screens, what we use to do them normally in Cinema 4D is the rigid body and the collider body. It's very, very simple. This is Harry J Multimedia. We are always here for you. If you want to learn about animation, if you want to learn about Cinema 4D, if you want to learn about graphic design generally, we have Photoshop, we have Corel Draw, we have Illustrator, we have Premiere Pro, we have Cinema 4D, we do CapCut and other softwares as well. So don't forget to follow us, to subscribe, to share, to like the page so we can grow the page. This is RJ Multimedia.